top stories. Police investigating armed robbery in Nevis. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister reacts to being appointed the lead of UN panel of experts. And EU and US agree to energy deal. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, the 25th of March, 2022. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the police are investigating an armed robbery that occurred at the Courts Furniture Store in Stony Grove, Nevis on Thursday. A police public relations officer confirmed the incident occurred around 3:30 p.m. No injuries have been reported. As investigations are still underway, the details surrounding the incident are still unclear. We'll have more information as it becomes available. More than 160 students across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis received the Embassy of the Republic of China Taiwan annual monetary scholarship on Wednesday at the ICCS auditorium. The ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Michael Lin, the resident ambassador of the Republic of China Taiwan, and the Honorable John L. Powell, Minister of Education. Ambassador Lin congratulated the awardees and highlighted the pivotal role played by education in the development of human resources. He stated, quote, "As we all know, human resources lays the foundation for national development, and that education is the key to the enrichment of the resources. We're very glad to see that the project has been consistently contributing to the education and the future success of the students in St. Kitts and Nevis." Minister Powell praised the recipients and charged them to remain ambitious, to practice tolerance, and to never lose focus as they work towards achieving their academic goals. The Taiwanese Monetary Scholarship is a joint human resource development project between the Ministry of Education and the Republic of China, Taiwan. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has welcomed a recent joint retreat of the Department of Consumer Affairs in St. Kitts and in Nevis. He deemed the event as an important endeavor which would ultimately benefit consumers in the Federation. The retreat, hosted by the Department of Trade and Consumer Affairs on Nevis, was held at the Malcolm Guichard Recreational Park in celebration of World Consumer Rights Day. Mr. Brantley said the retreat would provide the staff an opportunity to get together to share ideas to improve what they do by sharing best practices in order to better understand the challenges they face on both islands and how they can be addressed together. The Premier expressed hope that through both departments' efforts in educating, outreach, and sensitization, they would ultimately offer real value and in so doing promote the work they do. We now move to news on the regional scene. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown, has spoken about his appointment to head a United Nations panel of experts on improving access to official development assistance to vulnerable states. ABS's Rabies Outbreak reports.
Eligibility for grant financing has been a significant concern for small island developing states, or ZIZ. Prime Minister Brown, who is the chair of the Alliance of Small Island States, or AOSIS, has been a strong proponent for the use of a multidimensional vulnerability index to decide eligibility for concessional financing. This would replace the present criterion of GDP per capita. Prime Minister Brown now also serves as one of two co-chairs for a panel of experts who will propose a change to the United Nations General Assembly.
Countries like Antigua and Barbuda, they have been excluded from much developmental assistance. And we're very happy to be serving on that panel in order to resolve this inequity and to have, let's say, a more workable, a more just MVI, which will take into consideration the vulnerabilities of countries like Antigua and Barbuda to determine eligibility for developmental assistance to include ODA.
Antigua and Barbuda's permanent representative to the United Nations, Dr. Aubrey Webson, believes there is strong support for the change.
We believe we will get it passed now, but then the next step is implementation. So the objective is to work through December, get this passed by the second committee and by the General Assembly, and then the work begins again with an implementation. And that's where the advocacy group, Prime Minister Brown and his group, we believe will close their work in September, October, and then we will work with the committee after that.
Rabies Outbreak reporting for ABS News.
In Trinidad and Tobago, newly appointed Minister of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, Kazim Hossein, visited the Barrackpore area on Thursday to meet with concerned farmers whose livestock is being killed by an apparent rabies outbreak. He said his ministry is prepared to work with the farmers to have the animals vaccinated in order to save their lives. More in this TTT News report.
Early Thursday morning, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries and his team of medical experts headed down to Barrackpore to get a first-hand view of what farmers in the area have been experiencing. Over the past few weeks, farmers have been up in arms and counting their losses, as close to 30 cattle and a handful of sheep have died following a bat infestation at their farms. It's believed the infestation has caused a number of animals to become infected with the rabies virus. During his tour of farms in the area, Minister Hussein shared that so far 1,600 animals have been vaccinated to protect them from the rabies virus.
The Barrackpore farmers are affected. We decided to go and be proactive and start to give the vaccines to the animals. The farmers are very cooperative. We are here to work with them. We are here to listen to them. Whatever they need, we have a plan in place for funding, and it is being rejuvenated right now.
The minister explained that even though the Barrackpore area appears to be the one affected, he plans to visit farms around the country to ensure other animals get inoculated. A member of the medical team, Dr. Jeevanshu Sankar, said this is perhaps this country's 6th rabies outbreak in 50 years. He shared possible signs and symptoms to look for should farmers suspect their animals are unwell.
So the first symptom that we have been seeing in most of the cases is excess salivation. And other than that, we have been seeing incoordination on the hind limbs. That's what the animal first presents with. And they progress to what we call a downer cow syndrome, which is they go down on the ground and unable to get up.
The minister and members of the medical team are encouraging all farmers to contact the ministry to make arrangements for their livestock to be vaccinated to protect them from the rabies outbreak. Crystal Wilson, TTT News.
Internationally, following a summit with EU, G7 and NATO countries, an agreement has been struck with the United States and the European Union for the US to provide liquefied natural gas. Euronews tells us more.
Europe and the US have agreed to a new energy deal on liquefied natural gas. US President Joe Biden and the European Commission have announced Washington will send an additional 15 billion cubic metres a year to the European Union, which will bring in a total annual amount of 37 billion cubic metres.
On Russian energy. And the United States welcomed the European Union's powerful statement earlier this month, committing to rapidly reduce its dependence on Russian gas. Today, we've agreed on a joint game plan toward that goal, while accelerating our progress toward a secure, clean energy future.
Ursula von der Leyen thanked the US for its support, sharply criticised Vladimir Putin and made it clear that Europe does not respond well to blackmail.
As you know, we aim to reduce this dependency on Russian fossil fuels and to get rid of it. And this can only be achieved through, of course, first of all, investment in renewables, but also through additional gas supplies, including LNG deliveries. So we want, as Europeans, to diversify away from Russia towards suppliers that we trust, that are friends and that are reliable.
Friday's announcement follows a day of back-to-back summits in Brussels as Western leaders rallied to provide fresh support for Ukraine.
Still on the international scene, a 14-year-old boy suffered a deadly fall from a free-fall ride at Orlando's Icon Park. The ride stands at 430 feet tall, making it the world's tallest freestanding drop tower. The Orange County Sheriff's Office confirmed that the boy was transported to the hospital, where he later died from his injuries. NBC's Ann Thompson reports for today.
430 feet. That's great. Coming down 75 miles per hour.
A thrill-seeking ride at a Florida amusement park ending in tragedy after a 14-year-old boy suffered a deadly fall Thursday at Icon Park in Orlando. A video appears to show the ride with passengers discussing seatbelts with the crew.
Why doesn't this have like the little click, like the seatbelt?
Seatbelt?
Yeah.
and again after the ride begins.
Hey, you take your seatbelt on left side. Seatbelt. Nope. Seatbelt.
As the ride plummets toward the ground, the teenager can be seen falling. The Orange County Sheriff's Department later confirming that a 14-year-old boy was taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. After the accident, crew members gathering. A ride spokesperson saying the teenager was in a safety harness.
That's what we know at this time. So again, we operate the ride with all the safety precautions in mind.
According to its website, Orlando Freefall stands at 430 feet, making it the world's tallest freestanding drop tower. The ride can accommodate 30 riders when loaded to capacity. This accident comes after another fatal fall at the park. In 2020, a 21-year-old construction worker died after falling more than 50 feet while conducting a safety check on a different ride. This morning, questions about how last night's deadly accident could have happened.
Words can't say how we feel. Our hearts go out to the family of this young man, and that's all we can say at this time.
And that was last night, the ride's operator's spokesperson talking to cameras. But this morning, we reached out to the park itself, Icon Park, and we have not heard back. But we do know that the Sheriff's Department is continuing its investigation.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are cloudy skies with light showers. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a moderate breeze of 14 miles per hour from the east. Seas are moderate to rough with waves of 4 to 7 feet with swells up to 5 feet. A high surf advisory is in effect. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today and tonight will be partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:23 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:10 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.